Hopefully.
Hi guys, welcome back to Gender in Jakarta. I'm Fedina.
And I am Tutto
And today we're talking about work
in Jakarta.
So first of all, according to the Manpower Ministry, we had about 114.63 million workers nationwide by August last year. And only about 78.8 million of those were full-time workers, which means they work for 35 hours a week. And even more surprisingly, though not surprising actually, only 43 million are women.
There is currently no available data on gender distribution in each field, in each respective field. But there is a 2014 study by the Central Statistics Agency that shows that there are 1.5 million job vacancies nationwide. From that study, vacancies for women, there are about 788,000 of them, most of which are in the processing industry, around 386,000, and the social services industry with 271,000. Whereas for men, there are job vacancies, there are about 770,000 job vacancies, most of which is in the social services industry and hospitality with 146,608.
Surprising though, that shows that the job industry was actually looking for more women than men by around 10,000 people.
Yeah.
And specifically for Jakarta, there were around 19,000 job vacancies available for both genders.
That point comes back to our whole idea of, you know, Jakarta as the workplace where people commute into Jakarta to work, and most of the people working in Jakarta aren't actually residents. And in the last episode, I think we touched on that, and so we know now that Jakarta is busy, it's overcrowded, people are basically neck on neck with each other for jobs, for basic needs, and so we have to ask, so are the experiences different between the genders in this aspect?
I mean, I don't know what it's like for you, but for me, since we both work in the media, which is a pretty even level playing field for both genders, I feel like it's pretty okay. But sometimes, since I'm a woman, I do feel like I'm a little bit underestimated. I don't know if that's just me being insecure or if it's because of me being a woman. But I'm not bad, not the worst, I think. But then at some times I'm given tasks to interview certain people, and they specifically tell me that they want me to interview them because I'm a woman and women are charming, you know?
Well, I mean, since I'm also a journalist, I mean, I've met women, I've met the men in the field, and I think, well, I guess you can say generally that there are still more men in higher paying jobs than women, even though we have our exceptions. We have strong, influential career women here as well, working in male-dominated industries, but the general consensus is that, you know, there is this tendency to choose men over women, I think, in the workforce. I don't know if that plays into gender specificity, like in your case. Is it so bad?
I don't know. Maybe it's not bad, just different. We have different experiences.
I mean, according to the current UNDP Gender Inequality Index, Indonesia ranks 132 out of 187 countries. So we're pretty low on that. Yeah. And this is because in terms of gender participation in the workforce, females participate less, and the participation rate is, I think, 51.2% compared to male participation, which is at 81.2%. That's a huge discrepancy right there.
It goes back to the whole job vacancies thing. There's probably not enough jobs right now, and we said that each year there's around 1.5 million job vacancies. Meanwhile, the OECD says that Indonesia produces around 2 to 2.5 million new people who head into the workforce every year. And can you imagine all the people who don't get the jobs?
Yeah,
and that piles up every year. So there's like 500,000 to 1 million people who don't get jobs every year.
Every year. Yeah. Where do these people go? And I mean, if you look back to the inequality index, the most of these people, these unemployed people, every year are bound to be women.
Yeah.
So, but like, where do they go? What do they do? Why is it like this?
These women are probably married or being mothers, you know. At least that's what they're encouraged to be. There's a lot of reasons. You could just simply say patriarchal society, but that's too simple in itself. You have to look at specific things. For example, we have these two laws that they don't prohibit anything, but they allow certain things for certain genders. First law is the 1974 law on marriage and the 2008 law on income tax. Since men are still considered the head of families, in addition to their regular salary, they get additional benefits for their wife and their children, and they also get tax cut-off.
Tax exemptions. Yeah.
Tax exemptions per child. So in this law, to me, men are given advantages over women, married men specifically, because women, married or otherwise, cannot get these benefits or these tax exemptions, you know? And it's very discouraging for women to continue working if they know that they're still working the same position as another man, but they're not getting these additional benefits. And what about single mothers, for example? Don't they get benefits for their children too?
It's not completely pointless, that is, to say that women in the workforce don't contribute to the family unit. No, that's not at all. You certainly do contribute as women, but the added benefits from men is it fair or not? Because I mean, maternal leave for women, you get maternal leave if you get pregnant, whereas most men in most countries don't. There are exceptions, but mostly I think what the government is trying to do is compensate men with paternal leave by giving them added benefits. We don't even know if this is fair to give, if giving added benefits equals to getting less or getting no paternal leave.
Which brings us to the 2003 law on manpower, which states that women can get 3 months paid maternal leave, 1.5 months before they give birth and 1.5 months after, whereas men can only get 2 days after their wives give birth.
Just 2 days.
Yes.
And then bye! I'll see you at the office in a few months.
You can say that women are at an advantage, their bodies are healing, they get to spend time with their children but still get like paid leave. And some people might say that it's paid holiday, but is it really? Like, if you don't have a maid, you'll be taking care of the child alone, this newborn alone, because your husband's working, and then because he's a breadwinner. And I mean, the guy probably feels bad too, because here he's got this like newborn child and he can't really spend that much time with this baby. And like, what does that mean about our perception of father roles,
Well, the good thing is, I mean, we're not completely alone on this.
Okay.
I mean, there are many other countries, even progressive ones like Japan, who don't give paternal leave. And but I think we should strive. If there was an ideal, then we should strive to become like Sweden, because in Sweden, mothers and fathers are given 13 months of paid leave and an additional 90 days with, I think, a rate of $25 per day if they want to. So each man and wife, they get 60 days, I think, 60 days each, and then the rest of the days that are, you know, just divided between them, however they choose. And this is pretty good. I mean, that's very fair. That is what I think is fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what other problems do women face in the workforce in Indonesia? Well, according to a study by the Asian Development Bank in 2014, they found that the gender wage gap was a total of 32.9% for fully employed women against fully employed men. This wage gap actually decreases a little bit when you reach 50 to 59 years old.
When I'm older.
So it decreases to 29.6%.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Which is like this much.
Yeah.
And since we're talking about Jakarta, but I have to put in a side note that if you live in rural areas, it actually increases as you age.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
It goes up to 39.3%.
Oh, wow.
So for every however much a guy is paid, a woman on average is only paid like around 65 to 70% of whatever he's being paid.
So if I were like a farmer, I'd still be making more, like 40% more than you?
Yeah, around that. And since we're talking mostly about Jakarta, for Jakarta, the wage gap is 29.6%. Means that women are obviously not being paid as much as men, even though they're in the same position and may have the same skills and degrees that the men do.
Well, yeah, I mean, again, we don't know if this is a given and if it has more to do with how pay is negotiated. Like, I mean, obviously, if you really want to be honest, there really is no level of pay that is like set in stone. I mean, it really depends on how you negotiate. But then again, this preconception, like in terms of gender roles, I think also plays into the fact that there is a tendency for men to get more pay than women, and that it limits, I guess, the generosity of employers to provide more pay, provide more benefits and all that.
This probably has something to do about the laws that we talked about before. Like, women are expected to get married and to have babies, and a lot of women decide to stop working after they have more than 1 to 2 children, probably because it's hard to handle, you know, taking care of kids and working.
I wouldn't know.
Especially if the dude gets only 2 days of paternal leave and can't be there for his wife. But employers might be thinking, why should we pay them as much as men if we think that they're gonna quit anyway? So that might be something they're thinking about.
What is the solution?
I mean, I don't know, I'm stumped. Like, is there a solution? For one, of course, you can always try changing these laws, but that takes years, you know.
And takes support,
Takes
political support.
exactly.
Yeah, we're talking about politics here, at least where we're at the moment. So,
Yeah. And I mean, a lot of young people, they're going to freelancing nowadays.
Yes, that's an option.
Which means they're not limited by, not limited as much by these laws because they don't work for companies, you know?
But then again, I think their benefits are also different
Yeah,
in that sense.
their benefits are different, so it's not something you can really control either.
So,
No solutions.
yeah, I guess maybe you guys can help us find a solution, maybe give us some sort of input or whatever you're aware about that we aren't.
If you have an idea that might work for the short term, for the long term, give us a shout, you know, email us, comment us in the comment box.
Yes, we'll put it right down here.
And I guess that's it for our episode.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot to talk about in terms of employment in Jakarta, especially for women. But yes, I think we covered pretty much all the bases.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions or any comments or any ideas of what you want us to cover, please do contact us, either like comment or email us. Details will be there, and like last time, I'll put all the data that we found in the description box.
Yes, it's just the description, I think. We're still learning, if you see. And anyways, thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. See you guys next time, okay? Bye.
Bye.
Benedict Cumberbatch.
Benedict
Cumberbatch.
So can you hear the rain?
I can hear the rain.
Yeah, duh!